The office party was meant to be a dazzling, carefree night. Dimmed lights, pulsating music, colleagues laughing over cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. I, Victoria, wore an outfit designed to turn heads, knowing my husband, Ryan, would be there, but I paid little mind to the subtle control I held over him that evening. My lover, Mark, was also present, and a shiver of excitement ran through me as I noticed him stealing glances. Everything felt like a flirtatious game until I made the fatal error of exposing it. As the evening unfolded, I taunted Ryan lightly in front of Mark, teasing with a soft laugh, "You're so predictable, darling. Mark understands me in ways you never could." I assumed Ryan would chuckle awkwardly, brush it off, maybe show a faint grin or a small shrug. I didn't anticipate the silent storm simmering beneath his composed surface. At first, I dismissed the subtle shift, thinking he was just letting the joke sink in. But then Ryan froze, his gaze fixed on me, cold, unyielding, almost inhuman. The room seemed to tilt, the music fading to a dull background hum as I felt every eye turn subtly toward us. Even Mark's smirk faltered, sensing the sudden change. I forced a nervous laugh, trying to regain control, but my words landed with no weight. Ryan's presence radiated heat, a silent warning. I had provoked a beast I didn't even realize existed. He didn't shout. He didn't storm dramatically. He merely stepped toward me, each movement deliberate, and the atmosphere shifted instantly. Conversations halted mid-sentence as people sensed the tension. My heart raced, my hands trembled. I had gravely underestimated him. The husband I thought I knew, the one I playfully teased and controlled, had vanished. In his place stood someone terrifyingly calm, focused, and prepared to reclaim every ounce of respect I had dismissed. Mark's eyes widened, recognizing his misjudgment. My whispers, my laughter, my teasing all had backfired spectacularly. I wanted to laugh, make a joke, regain dominance, but the sheer weight of Ryan's presence left me paralyzed. Each heartbeat thudded like a drum in my ears, a visceral reminder of the fear crawling up my spine. The entire room seemed to hold its breath, bracing for the inevitable. Ryan leaned in, slow, calculated, stopping just short of touching me. His eyes pierced through me, freezing every thought and excuse I might conjure. He didn't raise his voice, yet when he finally spoke, the words struck harder than any shout could. "I hope you realize how far you've gone tonight." Calm, measured, but each syllable carried an invisible weight that silenced the room. I swallowed, mouth dry, confidence evaporating. Guests murmured uncertainly, unsure whether to intervene or stay silent. Mark's usual self-assurance crumbled, replaced by unease. He attempted to speak, but Ryan's cold stare held him in place. I felt heat rise to my cheeks. The shame of misjudging my husband was inescapable. The playful dynamic I had enjoyed for weeks had been replaced by a terrifying reality I hadn't anticipated. Ryan lifted his hand slightly, not in aggression, but with the precision and authority that made my pulse spike. The unspoken command was clear. The power had shifted. I had laughed at him, dismissed him, broken boundaries, but now I was entirely at his mercy. The monster I had joked about in my mind stood before me, composed, controlled, and completely dominant. Mark tried again, whispering something, but Ryan's gaze never wavered. Seconds dragged, each stretching painfully, a quiet horror revealing how close I had come to humiliation. Every colleague sensed the drama, every pair of eyes locked on us. My facade crumbled, and for the first time, I grasped the consequences of underestimating Ryan. Without a word, Ryan guided me away from Mark, subtle and deliberate, asserting dominance with his mere presence. I wanted to argue, resist, keep the game alive, but I had no strength left. His calm authority overwhelmed everything I had planned, leaving me exposed, vulnerable, and terrified of what I had awakened. The rest of the night blurred. I tried to reclaim composure, yet every glance from Ryan reminded me of my error. Mark melted into the crowd, silent, chastened, aware he had been outmaneuvered. I realized fully that my teasing had roused something in Ryan I had never dared provoke. The power dynamic had shifted irreversibly. By the time the party ended, I was pale, shaken, ashamed. Ryan hadn't shouted, yelled, or raised his voice, but each look, pause, and deliberate movement spoke louder than any words. The playful wife who thought she could toy with her husband was gone. I was left facing the stark truth: actions carry consequences far greater than I had imagined. The ride home was quiet. Ryan remained silent, needing no words to convey the weight of my misjudgment. I felt the depth of his strength, patience, and calculated calm, the kind of power that could dominate any room instantly. My arrogance had been exposed. There was no hiding from it. Alone in our bedroom that night, I reflected. Ryan's silence, his measured actions, had delivered a lesson words could never match. I had mocked him, flirted with another man, and underestimated the person who commanded quiet dominance, capable of shifting the balance of any room at will. From that night forward, nothing would be the same. I had learned, painfully and irrevocably, that teasing, mockery, and arrogance could awaken a monster I had never known existed. Ryan had no need to yell or humiliate. His calm, precise authority had done more than words ever could. And I understood with terrifying clarity that I would never underestimate him again. The office party had frozen the room, shattered my illusions, and left me acutely aware of who truly held the power.